The first pro with this 2024 Mazda Miata is going to be obviously the way that it drives. Every aspect of this car is brilliant, primarily because this is not some type of gimmick. This is not a car that gets old after 3 to 6 months. This car almost never gets old because this is the true foundations of driving. A lightweight, rear-wheel drive, well-calibrated sports car. So we know that already, but what are some other aspects that makes this car unique and special? Well, this is a car that actually teaches you how to get better at driving. There is a correct amount of playful lean and body roll incorporated into this car. When you enter a corner at the wrong angle, or you come in at too much speed, or whatever the case might be, the car lets you know that, and you are able to correct yourself and get better as a driver. Now, I'm not saying that this car is going to punish you for entering a corner at the wrong speed or at the wrong angle. You're not going to end up in a tree or something, but I'm just saying this car communicates with you, and it's fun to try and conquer this car, and it makes you a better driver because of it. So that's great. The other big pro regarding the drive is going to be the brilliant 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder in conjunction with this 6-speed manual transmission. The 4-cylinder has character. It's fun to ring out. It's plenty quick for a car that weighs between 2,300 to 2,500 pounds. The manual is precise. You know exactly what gear you're in. The clutch pedal, it's not ambiguous in any way. You know exactly where the bite point is at. But a con with driving this, I'm sure you probably already know this by now, but it's not exactly the most refined thing in the world. You do get some road noise, and the engine is pretty loud as well. Even with regular driving, I mean, you're going to be at 2,500 RPMs when you're cruising at 45, 50 miles an hour in 6th gear. And you're going to be over 3,000 RPMs out on the highway. So yeah, it's a pretty loud cabin space, and because of that, despite us having a brilliant 9-speaker Bose audio system with my test car here, this is the fully loaded GT RF, you can't really make use of that audio system. But then again, when you're driving this car, listening to music is not really the primary objective. That's not really what you want to do with this car. You really don't mind the louder cabin and the engine because you want to listen to those things. You like how immersive and communicative this car is. So regardless though, I'm still going to leave that as a con, but at the same time, that is part of the charm and part of the communication. Now, I'm going to mention this. However, I'm not going to say that it's a pro or a con. I just think that my particular test vehicle is defective in some way, or someone was really roughhousing this car and they really went over some type of a speed bump or something at some high speed and bottomed out the suspension. Because what I've noticed out on the highway with this 2024 ND3 Miata is it's constantly bouncing up and down on the highway. I did correct the tire pressure. It was slightly higher than it needed to be. I have it down to 29 PSI in all 4 corners. It didn't really fix it. It made it a little bit better, but it's still bouncing up and down like crazy. So I have no idea what that's all about. No other Miata I've driven in the past has ever done that out on the highway, and I was going at much higher speeds out on the highway with those previous ND2 Miatas that I tested in the past. So I'm just going to attribute this to somebody before me. They did something to this car. They roughhoused it. They mistreated this car, and it caused some type of an issue. But it's worth you checking out. Okay, if you're really interested in this car, do a thorough test drive, take it out on the highway, see how it performs. A lot of people, I'm just going to address this real quick, they're going to say it's because of a short wheelbase, that it's normal, it's natural. It's not normal, it's not natural. No other Miata before this has done that out on the highway, and I was going at way higher speeds. So there is that. Another big pro regarding this car is going to be the interior space. This is one aspect that's very Porsche-esque, where you have a simple cabin, but it's really well put together. It's functional and solid. Plus, I like these unique attributes like this exterior color matched trim panel on the door. I love that. Literally no other car has it. It gives off such a premium vibe. And yes, we do have this Grand Touring model with the optional Napa leather tan seats. They look good and they're also very comfortable. Other pros regarding the interior space, for 2024, we do have the 8.8-inch screen as standard. And when you go with the Club models or the GT models, you will be getting wireless Apple CarPlay. But I don't believe there's any wireless Android Auto. And if you go with the base Sport, even though you get the same screen, I don't think you get wireless CarPlay. You will also have to plug in your phone. But regardless, the infotainment works great. And when you're utilizing the CarPlay, you can use it as a touchscreen. HVAC is simple. The convertible tops, whether you go with the RF or the soft top, they're really quick to retract. Like for instance, the RF goes down in 13 seconds. If you had the soft top, well, it's almost instantaneous. You just do it with your own hands, and very, very easy to do. Leather wrapped steering wheel has a nice premium touch to it, and you do get this leather wrapped steering wheel even with the base Sport models. But the con with this interior space is obviously going to be how constricted it is. I'm 5'11", but I don't have much more headroom here, so if you're super tall, you obviously can't fit. That's a pretty big con. You are not able to enjoy the thrills of driving a Miata simply because you are too tall. That's not cool. Also, for most people, I'm sure this is going to be a little difficult to get in and out of because of how low slung it is. Although despite how low slung this car is, it does have a ground clearance of 5.3 inches. Just thought that was interesting. And we don't have much cubby spaces. In fact, we don't even have a glove box. You just have this small storage in the center, and you also have a very small center armrest. But they did manage to squeeze in 2 cup holders, although there is no space in the door pockets. So yeah, the lack of headroom, legroom, and also the lack of cubby spaces, that's definitely a con. Another pro with this car, it's definitely going to be the fuel economy. It is rated to get 26 in the city and about 34, 35 out on the highway. That pretty much beats the GR86 as well, a rival vehicle to this. But Mazda does recommend utilizing premium fuel, and I would use the premium fuel in this car simply because it's a performance car and also because it gets amazing fuel economy. I don't mind putting in the premium. The next pro is going to be, well, its size. It's only 154 inches long total, so you can easily place it wherever you want. Parking this in the garage, that's not even going to be an issue. But despite its small size, another pro with this is going to be it is surprisingly safe. Although IIHS in the United States has not tested this car, the Euro NCAP crash test rating for this vehicle is pretty good for what it is. So despite you driving in a small vehicle, you're still going to be pretty safe in a crash test. Of course, God forbid you get into a crash. I'm just saying though, the crash test safety, I would consider that a big pro. A con with this vehicle is definitely going to be the price, especially when you tack on options and you want to get it the way that you want. You're going to be paying pretty much 40 grand for this thing for like a club model with the BBS Recaro package, or if you go with these luxury Grand Touring models or these RF models, yeah, it's like a $40,000 car at that point. That's not cool. However, you can definitely save money by going with the base Sport. And I do like the base Sport because it's obviously the most simple Miata that you can get, and it still comes with some great standard features like blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. It comes with 16-inch wheels wrapped in 195 wide tires, so you already know that's going to be easy to slide around in, especially as the convertible soft top. And I do recommend the soft top primarily because you have less blind spots in the back. I think you get a slightly larger trunk, and because there's less weight in the back, it's easier to slide the soft top than it is this RF model. And that base model, it's going to be about $31,000. I mean, honestly, a base Miata, I would rather it be around $25,000, but with this overinflated market, you're at 31 grand. GR86, it's going to be about $35,000 for a fully loaded one. But obviously, driving this car, it has way more character, especially with the engine compared to the GR86. So skipping out on a bunch of options, going with the base model, that can save you a lot of money. But if you have the means and you love this car, by all means, splurge, get the options that you want. You simply can't go wrong with this car. Every time you get into this car, it's always a treat, it's always a joy. And I know I raved on the manual transmission, but not to worry. Even if you don't know how to drive a manual, the 6-speed automatic is also really good in this car. The paddles respond pretty well. So if you are injured or disabled, or you simply don't know how to drive a manual, but you want to experience this car, get the automatic. GR86, that car also has a good automatic as well. So hopefully this video was of value to you. If it was, make sure to like and subscribe. And if there's any owners out there, let us know how you are liking this vehicle. And if you recently purchased a new Miata, let us know what types of discounts and deals you were able to get, because this car at a discount would be amazing. Getting 2-3 grand off, that would be nice. But should you buy this car? Of course, but if you already own an ND2 Miata, that car is pretty much perfect already, so there's no real need for you to upgrade to the ND3. Just keep what you have. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye.